What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Obviously, this is the Juice Alert, and today I have a very special guest. His name is Chris, the Entertainah, aka the Entertainah talking sports. He is a diehard New York Giants fan. He puts out really good content. You can find him on YouTube. I'll put the links in the description of this episode. But Chris, how you doing today, man?
I appreciate you for having me on, man. I've watched your content before. I think you do a great job. Talk to you on Twitter sometimes. I see you, posting my comments. I appreciate you reaching out to me, having me on, and getting excited to talk a little Giants, maybe a little Aaron Rodgers. Should be a fun conversation.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. So, Chris, before we kind of get into the whole sports and things of that nature, the Giants, we'll maybe talk about some Knicks later on the show if you want, if we have time. But, kind of talk about, how you became a Giants fan. Where did that all start,
Yeah, I grew up in the New York area. My dad was a Giants fan. So I was always like a casual fan, probably up until the age of maybe 12, 13. I became a diehard. Tiki Barber was actually my first Giants player I fell in love with. Named my dog after him. And then, I fell in love with Eli. Eli's my favorite athlete of all time. But I started becoming a diehard fan right around maybe like 12, 13 years old. But I always grew up a New York Giants fan.
Gotcha. And what made you really start your YouTube channel,
Yeah, I was looking for a hobby. I had just broken up with my ex, and I was looking to get my mind off things. So I said, let me come on, try to make some people laugh, have fun, and then obviously I took it a lot more seriously as the channel started to grow. But never really, thought it would develop into anything of significance. You're just doing it for fun, which is what I always tell everybody. That's the first thing you should be doing something on YouTube that you're having fun with.
Yeah, you obviously have about 32,000 subscribers, so what was the video, or I should say, how long did it take for you to really sort of, blow up? You obviously you don't have like 100,000 subscribers or anything like that, but I say if you have 32,000 subscribers, that's a pretty successful channel, so when was the moment where you said, okay, I can maybe get to about 20K, something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't consider myself on the same level as like Tom Gracio. I know you've had on before, or maybe Strong Opinion Sports. They're pushing like 200K, and obviously there's people with 1 million. But I never thought I'd be close to this. Like I remember when I had 1,000, I was like blown away. I didn't go live until I had about 1,500 subs. I just made videos. And I remember I was live streaming a Giants game. I had about 1,500 subs. And I was just having fun with it, whatever, drinking. And I wasn't really taking it seriously. And then I see people in the chat. I was drinking. I was getting a little bit drunk. And people in the chat were like, stop drinking. We need your commentary. And I said to myself, wow, people actually come to me for this. And they actually take my opinion seriously. And, from that, it was kind of a wake-up call. And I just took it much more seriously. And I just, just people asking me in the comments, I always give my subscribers so much credit because they're the reason why I worked as hard as I do. The encouraging comments, giving me good insight. A lot of the stuff that I say has to do with some things that they point out to me, whether it be on my YouTube channel, whether it be on Twitter. And I always say to my subscribers, I'm trying to build a community, not, this is your channel as much as it is mine. That's what I want people to feel like. So I credit them just as much as anything else, but still got a long ways to go to get to where I want to be. But I never thought I'd even be near where I am now. But yeah, I would say, that day is when I started to take it a lot more seriously.
What's your favorite New York Giants game that you watched and your favorite Giants game that you've been to live?
Ooh, watched, I got it. There's a couple classics, obviously, but they're all going to be from those playoff runs, 07 and 11, the 08 and 12 Super Bowl. The game against you in the freezing cold, I always say it, 2007 NFC title game was an instant classic. You're talking like -30 with the wind. That's up there for me. The 49er championship game where Eli Manning got beat like a rag doll. I always say that is my favorite Eli moment. He's my favorite player, but nothing's ever going to surpass in terms of watching on TV the first Super Bowl that Eli won in 08. The undefeated Patriots, Brady laughing at Plaxico Burress for saying that the Giants were going to win. Giants go out there after we narrowly lost to them the last game of the regular season where Coughlin played all the starters. And I still say to this day, I think it's the biggest upset in the history of sports for us to go out there and knock off the 18-0 Patriots. So I would say that whole playoff run, but that one game in particular. And ironically enough, when I go to Giants games, they always lose. Like I went to 3 Giants games the year that they went to the Super Bowl in 07. They lost all 3 of them. The best game I've ever been to, and I've been to like a couple of wins, but it's actually a loss. But it was a big loss for the Giants. And it actually catapulted them, I think, to winning the Super Bowl in 11 was against your Packers. I went to the Giants versus Packers regular season game, 38-35. Packers won in the Meadowlands, or in MetLife, I should say. But
that was the year. Aaron Rodgers won his first MVP.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers won his first MVP. But ironically enough, I think the Giants, after that game, they built up confidence, similar to the game against the Patriots in 7. And they said, if we could play with them, the Packers that year went 15-1. We could play with anybody. And even though we lost the game, I think it gave us confidence going forward. We ended up winning our last 2 games, making the playoffs, and then playing you guys in the second round before we knocked you off. But even though we lost that game, it was a big loss for the Giants. It was a momentum-building loss.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.